I'll need to end every last driver that gets in my way. No pressure or anything.
Awesome. Well, Michael, first off, thank you so much for joining me and chatting all things Twisted Metal Season 2. I want to start by asking about your stunt coordinator on this project, Logan Holiday. People are familiar with his work from doing The Fall Guy, opposite, obviously, Ryan Gosling. What was it about Logan's style that took Twisted Metal to the next level?
I mean, Logan, the second I heard that we were able to get Logan, I was absolutely thrilled. I'm a huge fan of The Fall Guy. I thought that movie was insane. And he brought this energy and this excitement. I mean, look, I loved the stunts of season 1. I thought we had an absolutely amazing team. But for season 2, we had to bring this like next level excitement and chaos to the tournament. We had to bring that level, we wanted to up our game in the second season. And Logan came in and he was always excited to just up the stunt. He was always looking at what was written on the page and was very much like, well, what if we could do this? What if we could like he was always pitching me new ideas. He actually, for episode 2, he and David Barrett, our second unit director, actually put me in the car and was like, we're going to drive you on the route of the stunt. And let me just say, they had to use pliers to unclench my asshole. It was, I mean, he just has this like excitement and loves the show and really just wants to really up his game, up the show's game. And he really, really just wanted to, he knew he wanted to deliver and just really up the show's game,
Yeah, and I think it works synergetically too, because the story of season 2 is taken to another level. Season 1, in hindsight, almost feels like a prequel. It feels like we're really hitting the Twisted Metal ground running here in season 2, obviously with the big tournament going on, but also having Calypso involved. I'd love to talk to you about bringing Calypso into the folds this time around, and if you view Calypso kind of as the overarching big bad of Twisted Metal as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, season 1 was so much about setting the foundation of these characters, the world, understanding how everything works. And now that we have that all established, Calypso is so much about being the big bad. He's the puppeteer. He's very much, pulling the strings. And I very much viewed him as almost like there's a little bit of Willy Wonka in him. There's a little bit of, he's kind of also the audience surrogate, because we're all excited to see the tournament. And I think no one is more excited to see the machinations come to life and kind of put these drivers through their paces as he's like putting them into the tournament and messing with them and seeing how they're gonna react to his rounds and twists and turns. And I think, it was really exciting for him as much as the audience to see how they're gonna pull it off.
Yeah, you couldn't have got anyone better for the role too. Anthony is phenomenal as this character. He's so good. So to start with you, Anthony, you play a very iconic Twisted Metal character in Calypso. Fans have been waiting for this character to be brought to live action in this capacity. Can you talk to me about your research process going into bringing Calypso to life?
Yeah, well, I think there's obviously, there's been a lot of hype over this character, and for good reason. Is because I think he just is, larger than life in the game. He's just kind of terrifying, so the bar is set pretty high. But I also wanted to kind of bring my own spin to it, right? So in terms of research, I was obviously kind of like looking up the backstory of him and even playing the game, but. When it came to actually me wanting to dive in, I just, dove into the script. It was all really fleshed out. And then it's just about putting on the wig and having fun pretty much.
Very much so. Michael, the same goes for you. Fans have been waiting for Axel ever since Twisted Metal was announced to be being brought to Peacock. It was shoulder day this morning and I was doing some raises to the side and I tried to hold as long as I could because, man, I don't know the strength that you had to endure. I mean, I know you're already in amazing shape, but good God, keeping your arms static like that is something else. Have you felt the love already for just fans anticipating Axel being brought to life?
Oh, I definitely have felt a lot of love coming from the fans, and I appreciate all of it. It was a fun character to tackle and a physical challenge that I was up for at the time. I feel like to get that range of motion and that strength in that position, there were some activities I was doing already, but mace swinging was like key for that, to get that range of motion. And I brought that with me to set, I had a 35-pound mace that I would swing in between takes to keep the shoulders nice and supple. But yeah, it was fully immersive for me, tackling this guy.
Joe, to start with you, I think it's fair to say the two most iconic Twisted Metal characters are Sweet Tooth and Axel. How does Sweet Tooth feel about Axel coming into the fray here in season 2?
I think, Sweet Tooth is always meticulously jealous of any other fellow killers, especially ones that are as proficient as Axel, showing up on the scene. But at the same time, it's funny. I think Sweet Tooth kind of takes a liking to the fact that a guy is committed to make himself a machine in order to be a better killer. So, obviously there's only room for one at the top, and Sweet Tooth wants it to be Sweet Tooth, but he doesn't mind Axel too much because he's got a little style.
Yeah, and Sweet Tooth, he loves his companionship. That's what we get here in season 2 between Sweet Tooth and Stu. It's a relationship that feels like a friendship sometimes, and then other times feels like a one-sided, abusive, you're doing what I tell you to do thing. Mike, can you talk to me about Stu's, seeking companionship? It's pretty clear that he likes having a friend around, and maybe he ignores some of the toxicity that comes with being Sweet Tooth's BFF.
He's trying to resist it, but when we see Stu for the first time this season, you see that some of Sweet Tooth has rubbed off on him. I mean, a lot of the relationship in the show is like my relationship with Joe in real life. It's basically the same thing of Joe trying to teach me to be a killer, and it's the same thing with Sweet Tooth and Stu. Stu is not a killer. Sweet Tooth is naturally a killer. And he needs this father figure to kind of show him what to do, how to do it. And Sweet Tooth is the perfect mentor. So that's where it starts. And I think for Stu, it's that sort of thing of figuring out at what level does he want to be a killer? At what level does he want to survive in that world?
Yeah, survival's key when Calypso comes into play because, you guys are dealing with the big bad of the whole Twisted Metal franchise this time around. It's crazy because, watching season 2, season 1 feels like a prequel. Season 1 doesn't feel like we're starting in the middle of Twisted Metal. It feels like everything was building up to now hit the ground running with Calypso manipulating everything. Joe, I'd love to talk to you about how Sweet Tooth feels about Calypso coming into fray, because at times it does feel like he's energetic at the idea of a puppet master and playing his game, but other times I don't think he likes being told what to do.
Oh, he absolutely does not like being told what to do. And really, he sees Calypso more as a means to an end rather than what Calypso would hope everybody is, and that being this great wish granter that promises you the world. No, he sees it more as an opportunity to have more eyes on him, to show the world that he is truly the greatest killer to ever step foot on planet Earth. And he doesn't necessarily see Calypso as being the path to that. He just sees him as being a part of his great crusade to become that. So he's obviously impressed that he put together this tournament. I think he even makes reference to it in the first episode that somebody got beat to market. So he's enthralled with Calypso, but at the same time, I don't think he's as mystified as most of the other contestants.
Sweet Tooth is playing opposite a crowd at one point in later episodes. You think Sweet Tooth has the same urge to receive that wrestling pop that Samoa Joe does in real life?
Probably more so. You know what I mean? At this point, I've become accustomed to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a Tuesday afternoon of coffee for me. But for Sweet Tooth, it's so much more. It's that sweet hit that just, it's like chasing the dragon for him. He can't take it. He loves it, and he wants more and more and more. So it was definitely a highlight in the life of Sweet Tooth.
I wish we substituted the Joe chants for tooth. I think that,
we're working on it.
Maybe
don't trust me. Don't give MJ any ideas because they'll be there.
Yeah, you guys are so phenomenal in the show. You're such welcome additions to this cast, and I want to talk to each of you about your individual characters. Saylor, to start with you, Mayhem's a little bit of a loner when we first meet her in this season. Without getting into spoiler territory just yet, how can you tease how she will change who she is when she finds community?
I absolutely think that Mayhem's switch from not her switch, her growth. You're a good girl. Bless you. Sorry, the cutest little sneeze I've ever heard in my life. That was amazing. Wonderful to be playing. So sorry. Back into it. I think her growth throughout the entire show is honestly it is so quick, it's so fast, but it's because she has these people who are kind of feeling the same way about her, like making these connections that are so unthought of and distant and not likely at all, really. But I just think it's like a really beautiful thing to watch her genuinely get more comfortable with certain people. Also, just because that's exactly what I was feeling in real life. It was just me continually getting to know everybody that I was around and feeling it, like having it feel more like family every single day. So even though it's on a screen, it was a very genuine journey, like truly.
I love to hear that. Patty, Raven has one of the most fleshed out backstories of any character in Twisted Metal. Losing that friend so long ago, and that's still being her reason for wanting to win the tournament. Can you talk to me about why Raven holds that relationship still at the forefront of her mind, even though it's been so many years since they were together?
Yeah, I think she sees that relationship as, I think it was the first person who really accepts her and she feels comfortable with. And I don't think she, one, allows anyone else to get that close for the rest of her life, but she really like holds that as her like soulmate. I mean, that's the person she was like meant to be around and with and who made her feel like whole. And so I think she just wants the rest of her life, she's just wanting it back. And so I can't spoil anything, but she will do anything to have her back. To have her back and have that feeling back. And I feel like I can relate to that from like losing, like, you know, my father, like my most, why am I breaking this up? I'm gonna cry. But like your most like close person who, why am I crying during this? Like, you know, your soulmate who you're like, know you're connected with in this lifetime. Just wanting that connection.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow, thank you. That's very, very touching, and it's beautiful when life imitates art, right? And the reverse way around. So I think that adds a whole new layer to your performance. I've already seen the whole season, so when I go back and watch certain episodes, I think we're gonna appreciate it all the more. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Tiana, obviously Dollface and John Doe have their history. I mean, I feel like it's fair to say, even in a spoiler-free capacity, they are related. But that moment is before, you know, the entire Twisted Metal world kicks off. Can you talk to me about building that dynamic and knowing that even though they are aware of their past connection, it's not necessarily something that's driving them forward, because it's not like those memories are all so active?
Yeah, it's difficult because I think they both struggle to connect because they both have the same mission. They both want to enter the tournament, to win the tournament, and for different reasons. And I think because of that, they are connected and they want to work together. And so, you know, John wants to sort of go into the tournament and win back Quiet. And I have other motives. But I think sharing that same interest and that same purpose brought us closer together and gave us moments to really reflect and hopefully remember some really special moments in our childhood together and create new ones. So yeah, it is difficult. I mean, when you think about reuniting with someone that you were so close with and they have absolutely no memory of you, it's and all you've wondered is like, oh, I wonder how they are, or I wonder what they've been doing, I wonder if they've been thinking about me, creating a picture in your head and then meeting them and not remembering anything. It's incredibly frustrating, but you know, I think for me and Dollface, I wanted to keep that mission of, okay, all right, but we gotta keep the spirit alive for the tournament. We gotta keep the mission alive for the tournament. And in the process, I'm really hoping that John and Dollface can connect. So that was sort of where I was moving from.
To talk to you both specifically for this first question, Vermin and Mr. Grimm are drawn to one another in this show. I think it's fair to say. What about their personalities makes them just so magnetic?
I think they're both outcasts and deeply want to belong. I would say that Grimm is magnetic because he just wants to have as many souls in that head of his as possible. That's why I would say that. It's a thirst. It's like a drug.
I think they are drawn to each other because they're both the little freaks in the cafeteria that no one wants to sit with. You're kind of left with who you're left with.
I thought that there was like not necessarily last picked in kickball there. I thought it was like they made sense to be paired together. Richard, to speak to you specifically, obviously Mr. Grimm is the one going after all these souls, and Sweet Tooth is one he's had his eye on in particular. Why Sweet Tooth?
I mean, why not Sweet Tooth? I feel like it's Sweet Tooth is a fascinating soul that I would want to have bumping around in my head, and also to shut him up on this plane.
I think that's fair. He is quite the loudmouth, even though Joe doesn't do the voice. It's obviously Will Arnett, and he's your EP as well. So of course he wants to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both Joe and Will, like we get to hear Joe on the day, and he's incredible, and then hearing what Will does after, it's incredible, and it's pretty similar, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to not hear Joe's voice when he's doing his movements and all. Lisa, I read, I think you put it on social media recently that you described Vermin as your dream role. Like this is a big deal for you. At what point in the production process did that click? Did that superlative hit?
I mean, the whole way around. I think with the show this psychotic, everybody who's working on it is like down to party, you know? So everyone's so collaborative, and it's not like a proper show. In the way that, like, you know, we're all just like riffing, and we all know that it's this heightened world, so kind of anything goes. So it is a dream, because I've been lucky enough to be made over a few times into like an extreme character, but never on a actual series. You know, that's like, it's a big commitment, and not a lot of shows that are made for adult audiences have characters that are cartoons, and so that's very rare and very dreamy.
Very much so, guys. I will wrap with this. Obviously, this whole season deals with Calypso and wanting to grant a particular wish, anything you want, because we're dealing with the supernatural here. For both of you, outside of your characters, if you could have Calypso grant one wish for you, knowing the be careful what you wish for twists that could get put on it, what would it be? Richard, we'll start with you.
Oh man, what do you mean? I have to come up with this answer with knowing that he's gonna screw with me?
You got to be very careful with your words. That's why.
Oh man, because I had one when you were like, you want to wish, and I want Holland to win the World Cup. But now I'm thinking about what Calypso would do if I made that wish.
Well, maybe he would just give the soccer team like a cup that had the world on it and be like, well, they got it.
See, that is not satisfying. This is not good. I don't know what this wish would be. I would try to trick Calypso. I would try to trick him. Do you think that would work?
I think the key is being as specific and as detailed as possible.
It doesn't matter how specific you get. He's still going to do something. I would trick him.
It's true.
But, I do want to say one thing about Calypso in the season. Mm-hmm. People are going to hear his laugh weeks later, and it's going to make them laugh all over again. Anthony Carrigan is a genius.
I'll peel back the curtain briefly. I watched some of these screeners at like 2 a.m. just because the summer movie season is so busy. And I woke up with nightmares. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Liam, I'll make you feel better, because if Anthony Carrigan scares you in the show, you can always imagine that on set he always had his wig perfectly clipped down with like 2 little barrettes, so he looked like Dora the Explorer most of the time to us.
I love it. Lisa, do you have a wish?
I guess I would have to wish for more wishes if you're going to push me into that corner. Oh. Or if I really want to mess with Calypso and I don't want him to turn my wish against me, I might like wish that he would shit his pants or something.
More wishes.
See what he does with that.
More
That's
wishes
good.
might buy you more time, and then you have more time to think and figure out all the tricks.
Welcome to Twisted Metal.